All right, guys. Tech here. Wanted to make another quick video. I mean, I don't know how quick it's going to be actually. Playing FIFA 26. I'm going to post this on TikTok because my phone has literally no storage. So, um, so I was in a pro choice live very briefly. She's talking. This one was talking to a pro lifer. Um, Don Julio is a very, very, very smart guy, right? And she says, well, and somebody asked him, I seen this person on the panel. They joined the panel. I think he's French, and he said, like, when would you like know when a debate like conversation is occurring, and when would you like try to end it or step out of it, right? And she asked for hypotheticals. Like, I don't really do hypotheticals because I do things in the real world. Um, this is really happening. And I think this is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my entire life. It's just ridiculous. In a debate, if you don't entertain hypotheticals, I know she's saying it's not a debate, but if you don't entertain hypotheticals, it is bad faith. You're a disingenuous person who doesn't want to engage with somebody, right? Do they even know what a hypothetical is? A hypothetical is just it's just a question. It's just a what if question that tests a principle or a scenario, right? I'll give you an example, right? Here's how you ask them a question. Do you think it is okay to rape a child on Pluto? That's a hypothetical. It's what if. It's a question. You're asking a question to test a principle. Now, we know no human being has ever reached Pluto. Our current technology is not fast enough to reach Pluto. It would take probably thousands and thousands and thousands of years to reach Pluto, right? Um, so this is not something that's happening as of today. No human from Earth has ever stepped foot on Pluto. It is miles away, right? But notice how you're able to answer this question. I do ask this question on my lives myself, right? Is it okay to rape a child on Pluto? That's a hypothetical because it doesn't happen in the current world, right? It could happen, but it doesn't happen now, right? And notice how they weren't able notice how easily they're able to answer this question. The reason why people don't answer hypotheticals is because they know it will defeat their own position. It will trap them in their own scenario. It will they'll be made to look like a fool of themselves because again, you're saying, oh, things that happen in the real world. I mean, a lot of these things happen in the real world, okay? The scenarios we give do happen in the real world, okay? Water bursts happen in the real world, okay? 9-month abortions happen in the real world. They were legally sanctioned in America by Kermit Gosnell did them in Philadelphia. We know lotus births happen. We know late-term abortions happen. We know people get abortions for the gender. We know these things happen, right? So I don't know why you're not entertaining hypotheticals. I would say a lot of the hypotheticals do happen in the real world. Sure, there's logically possible ones. I wouldn't entertain. So there's logically possible hypotheticals that don't happen in the real world, but most of the hypotheticals pro-lifers give do occur. Now, of course, I'm not a philosophy expert, but in philosophy, right, we know that a hypothetical does not need to be based in reality. It doesn't. A hypothetical just needs to be logically possible. Like you can't ask, oh, what if a triangular square existed, right? That's logically impossible. Something can't be a triangle and a square, right? Like another example of a hypothetical in fiction, right? And this is an example of what I mean. Dragon Ball, right? A hypothetical, a commonly asked question in Dragon Ball is, well, what if Goku fought Frieza the second he arrives on planet Namek, right? That's hypothetical because that's not what happened in the original series. Goku did not fight Frieza in a um in the series, right? Same thing like Deadliest Warrior. If you've seen the show Deadliest Warrior, the whole point of the show is to entertain hypothetical battles in history. A Spartan never fought a ninja in history. They lived in completely different areas of the world, and they lived in completely different time periods. For a pirate versus a knight, that's a very common question. Who would win in a fight between a pirate or a knight, right? Never happened in history. Most of the Deadliest Warrior fights never happened in history because that's the whole point of the season. So it's just bad faith if you don't do hypotheticals, and they have to be logically possible, and you have to be testing the principle at hand, right? I think people don't want to answer that because they know they're going to be backed into a corner. And this reminds me because of the live I was just in, right? We were in a live with a girl saying, is it okay to kill a child past 16 weeks, that was her cutoff, if they had no limbs? Which is a disgusting position. She died on that hill. She also died on the hill that, yeah, it's okay to kill them after they're born as well. And she'd ask, well, because they're born, again, people are, acting so surprised. You do realize infanticide is something that happens in real life and has happened in the past. Again, many civilizations, right, they would kill their children if they would have deformities as babies, right? We know people have sacrificed their babies to deities in history. So if you're talking about something that happens in the real world, this has happened in the past for thousands of years, right? So her position is absurd. That's the whole point about these reductios. These reductios are the tests if you're going to be logically consistent or you're going to die in a really bad hill. And that girl in that live, in Mr. Man's live, first she wasn't being logically consistent. Of course, the special pleading to pregnancy, well, because it's born, okay, now it has moral consideration. But that's not what's relevant. The relevant part is that they didn't have limbs, right? So that's what's important. But the second when they're born, right, now they have moral protection. But then her opinion changed, actually, yeah, because this viewpoint, which I'm going to make another video of this viewpoint of, well, we should kill people to put them out of their misery for suffering and they're not going to have a good life, which is subjective. What constitutes as a good life? How do you measure something being a good life? That's a real question. Because your view of a good life is not the same as somebody else's. So that's the reason why you should not subscribe to this view. That's the whole point of a hypothetical. If you're not going to engage in hypotheticals, then why even bother? Notice how they say, well, what if your daughter was raped, right? That's a hypothetical. Do you even know what a hypothetical is? A hypothetical is a scenario or what-if question, right? A hypothetical doesn't have to be based in reality. It's just a question of the testing principle. Well, what if your daughter was raped, right? That's a hypothetical because their daughter wasn't actually raped. You're inventing a scenario where the daughter was raped. That's the whole point of a hypothetical. A hypothetical is inventing a scenario where something did not originally happen. For example, the show The Man in the High Castle, where what if the Nazis won World War II, is a hypothetical. Because we know in history that's not how it originally ended, right? So you like to pick and choose which hypotheticals you entertain, because it's inconvenient for your position. That's the point. Of course, you know you're trapped in this position, so you're not going to answer the question. That's why it's bad faith. So that's my point there, before the defense. So, in short, use hypotheticals. Logically consistent. And ones that test principles.